Don't invest yourself in wrong people, for time and energy are the most valuable resources we possess, and once expended, they cannot be replenished. In relationships, we often find ourselves giving, supporting, and investing in others, but it's crucial to evaluate whether this investment is returning value to our lives. Every moment spent with someone who does not appreciate, respect, or reciprocate your efforts is a moment that cannot be reclaimed. It is essential to recognize that not every connection is meant to nourish your growth, and not every relationship is deserving of your time, energy, and emotional investment. Time and energy are the most valuable resources we possess, yet they are often overlooked in their importance. Unlike material possessions or financial assets, time and energy cannot be replenished or stored for future use. Every second spent and every ounce of energy expended are irrevocably gone, making these resources truly finite. This reality underscores the need for mindful investment in how we allocate them. In a world filled with countless distractions and relationships, it becomes crucial to ensure that our time and energy are devoted to endeavors and people that genuinely contribute to our growth and well-being. The concept of investing in others is often seen as a hallmark of kindness and compassion. And while these traits are undoubtedly admirable, they must be coupled with discernment. Investing time and energy in the wrong people can lead to profound emotional exhaustion. These individuals may not appreciate, reciprocate, or respect the efforts made on their behalf, leaving the giver feeling drained and undervalued. Over time, such one-sided relationships can erode a person's sense of self-worth as they are continually pouring into a vessel that never fills. The emptiness that follows is not merely a lack of energy, but a deep emotional void caused by the realization that their efforts have been in vain. It is essential to recognize that not all connections are meant to last or support us in the ways we desire. Life is dynamic, and so are relationships. People enter our lives for different reasons and seasons, but clinging to relationships that no longer serve us is a disservice to ourselves. This clinging often stems from a misplaced sense of loyalty or the fear of being alone. But the cost of maintaining such ties can outweigh any perceived benefit. By holding on to these draining connections, we inadvertently sacrifice the opportunity to invest in relationships that could uplift and nurture us. The depletion of energy from these interactions goes beyond physical fatigue. It permeates every aspect of our being. When we are constantly surrounded by individuals who demand more than they give, our mental clarity diminishes, our creativity wanes, and our motivation falters. This cycle of overextension leaves little room for self-care or personal development, trapping us in a state of perpetual exhaustion. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward reclaiming our energy and prioritizing our well-being. To value our time and energy means to adopt a more selective approach to relationships and commitments. It requires a willingness to assess the impact of each connection on our lives honestly. This process is not about selfishness, but self-preservation. Just as we would evaluate the potential return on a financial investment, we must examine whether the people and activities in our lives add value or merely extract it. A healthy relationship is one where there is a mutual exchange of support and respect, fostering growth and fulfillment for both parties. Protecting our energy also involves learning to say no without guilt. Society often equates constant availability with goodness, but this belief is both misleading and harmful. Saying yes to everyone and everything spreads us too thin, leaving us unable to give our best to the things and people that truly matter. Saying no is not a rejection of others. It is an affirmation of our boundaries and priorities. It is a powerful act of self-respect that communicates our understanding of our worth and our need to conserve energy for what truly aligns with our goals and values. When we begin to value our time and energy, we cultivate an awareness of the patterns in our interactions. We start to see which relationships energize us and which ones deplete us. This clarity enables us to make intentional choices about where we direct our efforts. It becomes evident that relationships are not merely about proximity or history, they are about impact. The people we surround ourselves with should inspire us, challenge us to grow, and support our journey toward becoming the best versions of ourselves. Anything less than this is not worth the precious resources of time and energy that we have to offer. Furthermore, valuing time and energy means acknowledging our responsibility to ourselves. It is about taking the time to recharge, pursue our passions, and prioritize our needs. When we neglect ourselves in favor of others, we send a message to the world that our well-being is secondary. This mindset not only harms us, but also diminishes our ability to be fully present for the people and activities that matter most. By investing in ourselves, we create a foundation of strength and balance that allows us to engage with others from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Valuing time and energy is about creating a life that reflects our deepest values and aspirations. It is about surrounding ourselves with people who respect our boundaries and who uplift us through their presence. It is about letting go of the fear that comes with setting limits and embracing the freedom that comes with choosing wisely. Our time and energy are finite, but when we use them with intention, their impact becomes infinite. Through careful investment, we can build a life filled with meaningful relationships, personal growth, and lasting fulfillment. Recognizing red flags in relationships is an essential skill for safeguarding one's emotional and mental well-being. These warning signs often manifest as subtle behaviors or patterns that may be easy to overlook in the early stages of a relationship. However, over time, they reveal fundamental incompatibilities or toxic dynamics that can have long-term negative effects. Understanding these signs and addressing them proactively can save a great deal of emotional energy and prevent future heartbreak. Inconsistency is one of the most prominent red flags to watch for. It appears when someone's words and actions do not align or when their behavior oscillates between extremes. For instance, they may show intense interest and affection one day, only to become distant and inattentive the next. This unpredictability can create confusion and insecurity, making it difficult to establish trust. A consistent pattern of inconsistency indicates a lack of reliability and emotional stability, which are critical for any healthy relationship. If you find yourself constantly questioning where you stand with someone or struggling to anticipate their reactions, it is a clear sign that the relationship lacks a solid foundation. Another significant red flag is a lack of accountability. People who refuse to take responsibility for their actions often deflect blame onto others or make excuses for their behavior. This tendency undermines personal growth and mutual respect within a relationship. For example, someone who consistently avoids admitting their mistakes or fails to acknowledge how their actions affect others may lack the maturity needed to maintain a healthy connection. Over time, this behavior can breed resentment and frustration, as the burden of responsibility falls disproportionately on one party. Healthy relationships require both individuals to own their choices and work collaboratively to address challenges. Emotional unavailability is a red flag that can be especially difficult to identify early on, as it is often masked by charm or superficial engagement. People who are emotionally unavailable may shy away from deeper conversations, avoid discussing feelings, or dismiss emotional expressions from others. While they may initially appear charismatic or fun, their inability to connect on a meaningful level becomes increasingly evident as the relationship progresses. This detachment can leave their partners feeling isolated and unfulfilled as they struggle to bridge the emotional gap. In the long term, relationships with emotionally unavailable individuals often lack the intimacy and support necessary for true connection. Disrespect, whether overt or subtle, is a red flag that should never be ignored. It can manifest in various forms, such as belittling remarks, condescending attitudes, or dismissive behaviors. Even seemingly minor instances of disrespect, like interrupting during conversations or making jokes at someone's expense, can accumulate over time and erode a person's sense of self-worth. Respect is a cornerstone of any healthy relationship, and tolerating disrespect can lead to a dynamic where one person feels undervalued and unimportant. Recognizing and addressing disrespect early is crucial to maintaining a sense of dignity and mutual regard. Controlling behavior is another red flag that signals an unhealthy dynamic. It often starts subtly, such as making passive-aggressive comments, guilt-tripping, or attempting to influence decisions under the guise of concern. Over time, this behavior can escalate to more overt forms of manipulation, including isolating someone from their friends and family or dictating their choices. Control undermines the autonomy and freedom that are essential for a balanced relationship. A healthy connection is built on mutual respect and support, not on dominance or coercion. Recognizing controlling tendencies early can help prevent the development of a toxic power imbalance. Dishonesty is perhaps one of the most damaging red flags, as it erodes the trust that is fundamental to any relationship. Lies, whether they are blatant fabrications or subtle omissions, create an atmosphere of suspicion and insecurity. Even small lies, when repeated, can accumulate and undermine the integrity of a relationship. A lack of honesty makes it impossible to build a foundation of trust, leaving one or both parties constantly questioning the other's intentions and actions. Over time, the weight of dishonesty can lead to emotional exhaustion and an inability to feel safe within the relationship. A pattern of creating drama or chaos is another red flag to be wary of. Some individuals thrive on conflict or seem to attract crises wherever they go. This behavior can be emotionally draining for those around them, as they are often pulled into unnecessary conflicts or forced to navigate constant turmoil. Drama-driven individuals may use arguments or crises as a way to seek attention or control, perpetuating a cycle of instability. Being in a relationship with someone who thrives on chaos can distract you from your own goals and leave you feeling perpetually stressed and overwhelmed. Codependency is a red flag that is often overlooked because it can be mistaken for closeness or devotion. In a codependent dynamic, one person may rely excessively on the other for emotional support, validation, or even decision-making. While it is natural to lean on loved ones during difficult times, codependency creates an imbalance where one person is constantly giving and the other is constantly taking. This dynamic can lead to feelings of burnout and resentment, as the giver feels responsible for the other's happiness at the expense of their own well-being. Recognizing the signs of codependency is crucial for maintaining a healthy balance in relationships. Neglecting your own needs in favor of someone else's is another subtle but significant red flag. If a relationship consistently leaves you feeling drained, unappreciated, or unfulfilled, it may be a sign that your needs are not being met. Healthy relationships involve mutual care and consideration, where both individuals feel valued and supported. If you find yourself always catering to the other person's needs while your own go unmet, it is a clear indication of an unhealthy dynamic. This imbalance can lead to long-term frustration and dissatisfaction, ultimately hindering personal growth and happiness. A refusal to communicate openly is a red flag that can create significant barriers in a relationship. Communication is the backbone of any strong connection, and when someone avoids difficult conversations, shuts down emotionally, or uses the silent treatment as a form of control, it prevents the relationship from evolving. A lack of communication leads to misunderstandings, unresolved conflicts, and emotional distance. Without open and honest dialogue, it becomes impossible to address issues or build the trust necessary for a lasting relationship. Identifying and addressing these red flags requires a combination of self-awareness and courage. It is essential to reflect on how a relationship makes you feel and whether it aligns with your values and needs. Ignoring red flags in the hope that things will improve rarely leads to positive outcomes. Instead, it is important to confront these issues head-on and make decisions that prioritize your emotional well-being. While it can be difficult to let go of relationships that show consistent red flags, doing so creates space for healthier and more fulfilling connections. Recognizing red flags is about valuing yourself enough to set boundaries and demand respect in your relationships. It is about understanding that you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift and support you rather than those who drain or harm you. By paying attention to the early warning signs and taking proactive steps to address them, you can protect your energy and create a life filled with meaningful and positive relationships. Setting boundaries is a fundamental aspect of maintaining emotional health and fostering self-respect. Boundaries are not walls meant to isolate us from others. Rather, they are guidelines that define how we allow ourselves to be treated and what we are willing to accept in relationships. They serve as a form of self-care, ensuring that we protect our energy, prioritize our needs, and create space for healthy reciprocal connections. Without boundaries, we risk being overwhelmed, undervalued, or taken advantage of, ultimately compromising our well-being. The first step in establishing boundaries is self-awareness. This involves identifying your personal limits and understanding what you need to feel secure and respected. Self-awareness requires honest introspection, where you evaluate past experiences to recognize patterns that have left you feeling drained or uncomfortable. By reflecting on these moments, you gain clarity about what behaviors or interactions do not align with your values or emotional needs. Self-awareness allows you to articulate your boundaries with confidence, rooted in a deep understanding of what serves your overall well-being. Communicating boundaries is equally essential and requires a clear and assertive approach. People cannot respect boundaries they do not know exist, so it is crucial to express them openly and calmly. Effective communication involves stating your needs without apology or defensiveness, as this demonstrates your commitment to self-respect. For example, if someone repeatedly interrupts your personal time, a clear boundary might involve telling them, "I value our relationship, but I need uninterrupted time to recharge." The key is to convey your message with kindness while maintaining firmness, leaving no room for ambiguity about your expectations. Saying no is one of the most powerful tools in boundary setting, yet it is often one of the most challenging. Many people struggle with the fear of disappointing others or being perceived as selfish. However, saying no is not a rejection of the person, but a necessary act of prioritizing your needs. When you constantly say yes out of obligation, you risk overextending yourself and neglecting your own well-being. Learning to say no without guilt is a skill that strengthens self-respect and reinforces the boundaries you have set. It is an acknowledgement that your time and energy are valuable resources deserving of careful stewardship. Enforcing boundaries is where the true challenge often lies. It is one thing to articulate a boundary, but it is another to uphold it consistently when faced with resistance or pushback. Some people may test your limits, either unintentionally or deliberately, and it is during these moments that your commitment to self-respect is put to the test. Upholding boundaries requires firmness and consistency, even in the face of discomfort or conflict. It involves reiterating your expectations when necessary and taking action if your boundaries are repeatedly violated. For example, if someone disregards your request for space, you may need to limit your interactions with them to protect your emotional well-being. Healthy boundaries are not rigid or inflexible. They are dynamic and adaptable to different relationships and situations. As you grow and evolve, your boundaries may need to be reassessed and adjusted to align with your changing needs and circumstances. This flexibility allows you to maintain a sense of balance and authenticity in your interactions. For instance, a boundary that served you well in one phase of your life may no longer be relevant in another. Regularly evaluating your boundaries ensures that they continue to support your emotional health and reflect your values. Boundaries are not only about protecting yourself, but also about fostering healthier relationships. When you set boundaries, you create an environment of mutual respect and understanding, where both parties feel valued and secure. Clear boundaries help prevent misunderstandings and conflicts by establishing expectations up front. They also encourage open communication, as others feel more comfortable expressing their own needs when they see you doing the same. In this way, boundaries enhance the quality of relationships by promoting honesty, respect, and collaboration. Respecting the boundaries of others is just as important as setting your own. Healthy relationships are built on reciprocity, where both individuals honor each other's limits and needs. When someone shares their boundaries with you, it is an opportunity to demonstrate care and respect by honoring their requests. This mutual consideration strengthens trust and deepens connections, creating a foundation for a more balanced and fulfilling relationship. Recognizing and respecting the boundaries of others also sets a positive example, encouraging them to do the same for you. One common misconception about boundaries is that they create distance or alienate people. In reality, boundaries are an act of love, both for yourself and for others. By setting boundaries, you ensure that your interactions with others are based on authenticity and respect rather than resentment or obligation. They allow you to show up fully and genuinely in your relationships because you are not weighed down by feelings of overextension or neglect. Boundaries help you preserve your energy, enabling you to engage with others from a place of wholeness rather than depletion. The process of setting and maintaining boundaries can sometimes feel uncomfortable, especially if you are not used to asserting your needs. It may evoke feelings of guilt or fear of rejection as you worry about how others will react. However, this discomfort is a natural part of growth and a sign that you are prioritizing your well-being. Over time, as you become more accustomed to setting boundaries, you will find that it becomes an empowering practice. Each time you enforce a boundary, you reinforce your self-worth and demonstrate to others that you value yourself. Boundaries also play a vital role in self-care as they create space for you to focus on your own needs and goals. When you set limits on what you are willing to tolerate or give, you free up emotional and mental energy to invest in activities and relationships that truly nourish you. This self-care aspect of boundaries is not selfish, but essential for maintaining balance and preventing burnout. By prioritizing your well-being, you are better equipped to support others and contribute positively to your relationships and communities. Setting boundaries is about creating a life that reflects your values and priorities. It is about taking ownership of your time and energy and ensuring that they are directed toward what truly matters. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, but about fostering relationships that are built on mutual respect and care. They are a declaration of your worth and a commitment to living authentically and intentionally. Through the practice of setting and maintaining boundaries, you empower yourself to lead a more fulfilling and balanced life, surrounded by relationships that uplift and support you. Avoiding toxic attachments is essential for preserving emotional health and fostering a sense of self-worth. Toxic relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, often develop insidiously, gradually eroding one's sense of balance and well-being. These connections are marked by an imbalance of power, manipulation, and emotional neglect, leaving one party feeling drained and unsupported. Recognizing the signs of a toxic attachment and taking deliberate steps to detach are crucial for moving toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships. The emotional toll of toxic relationships is profound, often manifesting as anxiety, self-doubt, or a diminished sense of self. In these connections, one partner may consistently take more than they give, leaving the other to shoulder the burden of emotional labor. Over time, this dynamic can lead to feelings of inadequacy, as the giver begins to question their worth and their ability to meet the needs of the other person. Toxic attachments can also foster a sense of dependency, where the individual feels unable to leave the relationship despite its damaging effects. This dependency is often reinforced by cycles of emotional highs and lows, where brief moments of connection and affection temporarily mask the underlying dysfunction. Recognizing the signs of a toxic attachment is the first step toward breaking free. One of the most common indicators is a lack of reciprocity in the relationship. If one person is consistently giving while the other is taking, the imbalance becomes unsustainable. Additionally, feelings of walking on eggshells or constantly second-guessing one's actions are red flags that the relationship may be unhealthy. Toxic individuals often use tactics such as guilt-tripping, passive aggressiveness, or outright criticism to maintain control, leaving their partners feeling trapped and undervalued. Over time, these patterns of behavior can erode self-esteem and create a sense of emotional entrapment. Letting go of a toxic attachment requires a combination of self-awareness and deliberate action. The first step is acknowledging the reality of the situation and accepting that the relationship is not serving your well-being. This can be one of the most challenging aspects, as it often involves confronting deeply held hopes and expectations. Many people remain in toxic relationships out of a belief that things will improve or a fear of being alone. However, clinging to these illusions only prolongs the emotional damage and delays the healing process. Acceptance is the foundation for change, allowing you to begin the process of detachment with clarity and resolve. Establishing boundaries is a critical part of breaking free from toxic relationships. Boundaries serve as a means of protecting your emotional space and defining what behaviors you are unwilling to tolerate. Communicating these boundaries clearly and assertively is essential, as it sets the stage for healthier interactions moving forward. For example, if a toxic individual frequently dismisses your feelings, a boundary might involve stating, "I will not engage in conversations where my emotions are invalidated." While setting boundaries can be met with resistance or pushback, their consistent enforcement reinforces your commitment to self-respect and emotional well-being. Detaching emotionally from a toxic relationship often involves creating physical distance as well. Limiting contact with the toxic individual allows you to reclaim your mental and emotional space, making it easier to focus on your own needs and priorities. This distance can take many forms, such as reducing the frequency of communication, avoiding shared spaces, or, in some cases, cutting ties altogether. While this separation can feel difficult initially, it is a necessary step in breaking the cycle of dependency and reclaiming your autonomy. Physical distance creates the opportunity to heal and reestablish your sense of self outside the context of the toxic relationship. Seeking support from trusted friends, family, or professionals can provide invaluable guidance and encouragement during this process. Sharing your experiences with others who understand your situation can help validate your feelings and remind you that you are not alone. Therapists or counselors can offer insights into the dynamics of toxic relationships and provide strategies for coping and moving forward. Support networks also serve as a source of accountability, helping you stay committed to your decision to detach and focus on your well-being. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can reinforce your resolve and provide a sense of community during this transformative period. Rebuilding your self-esteem is another crucial aspect of detaching from a toxic attachment. Toxic relationships often leave individuals feeling depleted and questioning their worth. Taking the time to reconnect with your passions, values, and personal goals can help restore your sense of identity and confidence. Engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment serves as a reminder of your intrinsic value, independent of any relationship. Self-care practices, such as mindfulness, exercise, or journaling, can also support emotional healing by fostering a sense of self-awareness and resilience. Forgiveness, both of yourself and the other person, is a powerful step in the healing process. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful behavior or forgetting the pain caused by the relationship. Instead, it involves letting go of resentment and anger to free yourself from the emotional weight of the past. Forgiveness allows you to move forward with a sense of peace, focusing on your growth rather than remaining anchored to the hurt. It is an act of self-compassion that acknowledges your journey and honors your commitment to creating a healthier, more positive future. Detaching from toxic attachments opens the door to healthier and more fulfilling relationships. As you let go of connections that drain or harm you, you create space for people who uplift and support you. This transition may involve reevaluating your expectations and priorities in relationships, ensuring that they align with your values and needs. Building connections based on mutual respect, trust, and reciprocity fosters a sense of balance and emotional well-being. By choosing relationships that nurture your growth, you reinforce your self-worth and create a foundation for long-term happiness. The journey of detaching from toxic attachments is not without challenges, but it is a deeply empowering process. Each step toward emotional freedom brings you closer to a life filled with authenticity and self-respect. By recognizing the signs of toxicity, setting boundaries, and seeking support, you take control of your emotional health and reclaim your autonomy. Ultimately, the act of letting go is not about loss, but about gaining the opportunity to build a life that reflects your true worth and potential. Uplifting relationships are the cornerstone of a fulfilling life. They are connections that inspire personal growth, provide mutual support, and bring joy and balance to our emotional world. Unlike relationships that drain or harm, uplifting connections encourage us to become the best versions of ourselves while fostering an environment of reciprocity and respect. These relationships go beyond mere companionship. They create a sense of belonging, trust, and shared purpose that strengthens both individuals. One defining characteristic of uplifting relationships is their foundation of mutual respect. In such connections, both individuals value and appreciate each other's thoughts, feelings, and boundaries. Respect is not just about politeness. It is about recognizing the inherent worth of the other person and treating them accordingly. When respect is present, conflicts are addressed constructively, and disagreements become opportunities for growth rather than sources of division. Mutual respect creates a safe space where individuals can express themselves authentically without fear of judgment or rejection. Emotional support is another hallmark of uplifting relationships. Life's challenges can be overwhelming, but having someone who listens, empathizes, and offers comfort can make all the difference. Uplifting relationships are characterized by a willingness to stand by one another during difficult times, providing a sense of stability and reassurance. This support is not one-sided. It is a reciprocal exchange where both parties feel cared for and valued. Emotional support in these relationships strengthens resilience and fosters a deep sense of connection, reminding individuals that they are not alone in their journey. A shared commitment to personal growth is another key element of uplifting relationships. These connections encourage individuals to strive for their goals, explore their potential, and step outside their comfort zones. An uplifting partner, friend, or family member does not hold you back or discourage your ambitions. Instead, they celebrate your achievements and motivate you to reach even greater heights. This mutual encouragement creates a dynamic where both parties inspire each other to grow, leading to a more enriched and fulfilling relationship. Trust is the bedrock of any uplifting relationship. It is the assurance that the other person has your best interests at heart and will act with honesty and integrity. Trust allows individuals to be vulnerable, knowing that their feelings and experiences will be held with care. In relationships built on trust, there is no room for manipulation or deceit. Instead, there is a commitment to open and honest communication. This transparency fosters a deeper bond, enabling the relationship to withstand challenges and grow stronger over time. Positivity is another vital component of uplifting relationships. These connections are infused with optimism, humor, and a sense of lightness that makes spending time together enjoyable and fulfilling. Uplifting people focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems, helping to reframe challenges in a constructive way. Their positive energy is contagious, creating an environment where both parties feel energized and inspired. This positivity does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it reflects a shared commitment to finding joy and meaning even in the face of adversity. Uplifting relationships also prioritize balance and reciprocity. These connections are not about one person constantly giving while the other takes. Instead, they involve a harmonious exchange of effort, care, and support. Both individuals contribute to the relationship, ensuring that neither feels neglected or overburdened. This balance fosters a sense of equality and fairness, which is essential for maintaining long-term harmony. Reciprocity in relationships reinforces the idea that both parties are valued and appreciated, strengthening the bond between them. Authenticity is a defining quality of uplifting relationships. In these connections, individuals feel free to be themselves without fear of judgment or rejection. There is no need to wear a mask or conform to someone else's expectations. Instead, authenticity is celebrated and encouraged. This openness creates a genuine connection where both parties feel seen and understood for who they truly are. Authenticity fosters trust and deepens the emotional bond, making the relationship more meaningful and fulfilling. Shared values and goals also play a significant role in uplifting relationships. When individuals align in their beliefs, priorities, and aspirations, it creates a sense of unity and purpose. This alignment does not mean that both parties need to be identical in every way. Rather, it reflects a shared understanding and respect for each other's vision of life. Having common ground in values and goals strengthens the relationship by providing a foundation for collaboration and mutual support. Laughter and joy are integral to uplifting relationships. These connections are marked by moments of shared happiness, humor, and celebration. Laughter is a powerful tool for relieving stress, building intimacy, and strengthening bonds. In uplifting relationships, joy is not just an occasional occurrence. It is a consistent presence that enriches the connection and makes it a source of positivity in both individuals' lives. Sharing joyful experiences reinforces the emotional connection and creates lasting memories that deepen the relationship over time. One of the most profound aspects of uplifting relationships is their ability to foster a sense of belonging. In these connections, individuals feel accepted, valued, and loved for who they are. This sense of belonging provides a foundation of emotional security, allowing both parties to thrive and grow. Feeling that you are part of a supportive and caring relationship enhances overall well-being and contributes to a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment in life. Maintaining uplifting relationships requires effort, intention, and a commitment to growth. These connections are not static. They evolve as both individuals grow and change. Open communication, mutual understanding, and a willingness to address challenges are essential for sustaining the positive dynamics of the relationship. By continually investing in the connection and prioritizing each other's well-being, individuals can ensure that their relationship remains a source of inspiration and support. In conclusion, the journey toward building meaningful and uplifting relationships begins with self-reflection and intentional action. Taking the time to evaluate the connections in your life allows you to distinguish between those that nurture your growth and those that drain your energy. This process, though challenging, is essential for cultivating a life that aligns with your values and priorities. By recognizing the importance of your time and emotional well-being, you empower yourself to let go of relationships that no longer serve you, creating space for healthier and more fulfilling bonds. Letting go of toxic connections is not an act of rejection, but a step towards self-respect and healing. It requires courage to confront the discomfort of change and the vulnerability of release. However, this act of detachment is an affirmation of your worth, a declaration that your happiness and growth matter. Each step away from toxic dynamics brings clarity, freedom, and the opportunity to invite people into your life who truly value and support you. In choosing to prioritize your well-being, you set a powerful example for others and lay the foundation for stronger, more balanced relationships in the future. As you move forward, embrace the power of choice in your relationships. Be intentional about the connections you nurture, seeking those that align with your values and contribute positively to your journey. Recognize that you have the ability to shape the emotional landscape of your life by surrounding yourself with relationships that empower and inspire you. The process of cultivating these connections may require effort and self-awareness, but the rewards are immeasurable. A life filled with meaning, love, and a profound sense of belonging. The path to personal empowerment is not without its challenges, but it is a journey worth undertaking. By letting go of what holds you back and embracing relationships that lift you higher, you pave the way for a brighter, more fulfilling future. Trust in your capacity to make choices that honor your worth and lead to joy. Through self-reflection and intentionality, you can create a life rich with the kind of relationships that not only support you, but also inspire you to become the best version of yourself. This is the essence of living authentically. With a heart full of gratitude and a life filled with meaningful connections,